Three. Okay. Hey guys, it's episode 2 of the Creative Blackprint Podcast. I'm here with Clara Syre Ford, the artist and creative from New Jersey. I'm gonna allow her to introduce herself and just kind of give some background. I've known her for like since middle school. Yeah, she's seen me evolve. Like I
Yeah.
like all these people that I have on my podcast so far have seen me just evolve in so many different ways. I've seen them evolve. And so I'm gonna allow Clara to just introduce herself and, tell us a little bit about your art and like what you do.
My name is Clara. I'm a painter, but I'm also like multi-creative, so I do lots of fun things I get my hands on. Right now, I'm mainly just doing painting and doing a lot of community work. Yeah.
I love that. That's really awesome. And I love the fact that you mentioned community work. So can you kind of go into that? Like what essentially is like the community work that you've been doing?
I mostly work in nonprofit at this point. I've been doing a lot of things in connection with an after school program in Harlem. Hands That Make a Difference. Shout out
Yes.
to Lisa. Um, they've been a beautiful like start for me when got out of college. It was like really interesting in the way of working with kids and also trying to find like funding and grant writing and stuff like that. So yeah.
That's awesome. I love to
Mhm.
hear that, especially coming from like someone working in the nonprofit industry. I think it's always
Mhm.
rewarding, doing work for people that there's going to be like some form of like resource or help you're giving to people, even if it's a small way. I think that's important. So I love the fact that you touched on um
Mhm.
community building. I guess my first question for you would be, when did you kind of first realize like art was something you needed to create, like not just consume? Like how did you kind of just get into the space of like creating?
Well, like, I don't know. When I first thought about doing art, it came from my siblings. I have an older brother, and I have like older sisters who are always artistic. Like they were like drawing all the time. My sister was singing, drawing. I was like, oh God, I want to be like her.
Yeah.
Um, and then afterwards, it was just like a fun thing that I thought I could do. And I didn't really see it as a like career path
Mhm.
because, growing up and like in our communities, we don't think of art as a valid career path and doesn't make any money, yada yada yada.
Right.
But towards I've always been a person who was like high achieving, but a high achieving my own way. And
Mhm.
then after high school, I had like I wanted to go to college, but I didn't want to go to college, so I didn't go. So I went to go get my cosmetology license,
Yes.
and then like I got bored with doing that. But the only thing that stayed consistent was that I was always drawing, I was always painting. And so I decided to go to school for that. And then later afterwards, I was like, okay, I'm just going to continue. Like, I see this as a viable thing. I don't know anything else but this, that keeps me like driven and wanting to come and do more. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's important. Like you said, like the fact that you kept going back to it is something that
Mhm.
never kind of left you. I think a lot of
Yeah.
people like tend to not tap into like their actual passions and things that they really, care about, or even just not even like being good at it, but just even something they just love to do. And sometimes people forget like just kind of who they are. And I think that's something even as I'm learning as an adult, like
Yeah.
tap into the things that you loved as like a teenager or as a kid and things that
Hmm.
you enjoy. And I think that's super important.
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like um when I chose to go to school and when I chose to like be like serious about my work, it mostly came from a place of like, oh, I've done everything this far that proven to not be what I wanted to do and it wasn't working out. So rather just do something crazy and then like figure out the rest of it along the way. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And life is a journey, you have to figure it out as long as you go out. I think that's, yeah, that's very true.
Mhm.
And honestly, kind of moving on to like just even like what inspired your like current style of art, like
Hmm.
did it like did it come over time? Did you always know like kind of the art that you were producing? Was it like, something that you always kind of is like a style you stick to, or do you kind of explore like different arenas?
I think like most artists, like they start in a certain way and then like it graduates to be something else, whether that be like outer influences or you're talking to like um different artists along the way and you find something you like from them. When I first started painting or like I've always or like painting or drawing or any of those things, it was very much in the mystical realm, like very, very what's the word for it? Very extravagant in the way of like I was going from memory and then as my skills got different or got more like detailed in the way I was learning how to do facial features and like um finding what was contextual to my work
Mhm.
or contextual to my work. I became more interested in playing out stories and
Hmm.
like the concepts of stuff that was going on with me and how that plays out, or like an image that could tell a part of a story that's m more than that.
Yeah.
Um, and really developing on symbols that became really important to me. Um, Pulling from both what's of me and then what's of other people. And yeah. So I think that's what my work has become now. I've been more into storytelling and more into like portraits and the aspects of different people. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah,
Hmm.
the storytelling aspect. I
Hmm.
even when I like see art pieces in galleries, I love if it's like something I can't really figure out. Like kind of have to, keep
Yeah.
like
Yeah, definitely. I feel like when people do like storytelling, um and try to make it contextual to like contextual to a community, I feel like people get more out of it. They're more connected to the work because they've seen themselves in it.
yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is key. Yeah, seeing yourself in it. Yes, I definitely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
And what is like the latest piece of work that you've done? Like,
Mm-hmm. So the latest one, I'm working on like a little series. I don't really know what I'm calling it right now, but
okay. Yeah.
um yeah, the most recent work I've done is the piece is called um oh my God, Giving Up Holiness. And then I did another part of that that was like connected to my culture and also to like what I was feeling at the time, and aspects of like identity, also about media and documentation and like trying to figure out how to put the world around me and how I feel about everything and like one thing.
Yeah.
It's been interesting in a way because I get to have meet a bunch of different people who see my work and like want to know about it, but also connect to it because they're like, oh, I'm a journal person or I like feel this type of way towards it, and they all get different concepts from it, which is really good.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I feel like this is such like an exciting time for you, like just the fact that like I think it's cool like to just know like your
Mhm.
art is like being like featured in like different galleries and people are really like just seeing the work that you're creating and even just the hard work that goes in to creating art. I think people don't really know the back end
Mhm.
like what artists go through and what would you say is like a struggle of like when creating art like when you get creative blocks like how do you overcome those like I guess yeah like creative blocks or struggles you face.
Yeah, I don't know. When someone finds the finds a prayer, let me know. I think I go through spells where I can paint for a long time or I could create for like months on end, and then I go for not creating in a year,
Yeah.
not doing something in a year or a couple months, or I'll go through one or 2 days where everything is going out on the paper and I'm done.
Yeah.
But after that feeling is gone, I can't get it back. I wish I was one of those people who can do that because I feel like I'd be mm, functional. like functional and able to do more shows and able to motivate myself in that way. Like I try, everyone has their routine and what they create from themselves, and then they break off from it and become something else, so I'm trying to find that balance right now. What I found has worked for me for the most part is to stay present in whatever I'm feeling. um Most of the time when I'm creating is coming from that place of like, oh, I'm feeling this, and then I leave the canvas, and then I'm going on with my life, and that feeling's gone. So trying to stay as if I had that feeling somewhere, I'll probably be at drinking, having drinks with you or something. Like, okay, I need to like I like this feeling. I like this feeling. I need to go back and like transfer it. And I feel like making sure I'm gonna hand this a lot. Making sure that I continue to like make time for whatever I need to. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. It's especially creating balance. That's
Yeah.
yeah, because I even go through that in my current role, like doing like social media content creation
Hmm.
basis. You get burnt out seeing all the content pushed out and even just like idea generating. So I definitely understand what you mean when it's like sometimes you push out, you're just creating, and then other days it's like, all
I
right,
don't got nothing
yeah,
else.
nothing else come out
What
here.
other TikTok can we watch? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like there
Hmm.
it's a balance, and like sometimes it's very unbalanced, like, and that's the
Hmm.
reality of like being in creative fields, that I feel like
Hmm.
people think it's just so easy for especially artists to like just drop some music, drop some drop a painting, drop a just a creative work of art easy.
Hmm.
Oh, it's not that hard. People got to be inspired. Real things got to keep people going. So that's definitely key. I
Hmm.
guess, how would you describe your art to someone who's never experienced it before? Like,
Um, oh, I feel like my art is like you have to sit with it. You have to be with it to understand. And I feel like that's with everybody's work. But I think um face value, it is what it is, but also, sitting and learning and being willing to learn is what I get from my work.
yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah, no, I love that. I love that answer. So I guess even with like
Mhm.
for artists and success, like what do you think success looks like to you as an artist right now? And like has that always been the same like kind of viewpoint you've had, or has it evolved over time? Like where do you hope to
Mhm.
be, I guess, like years from now or even months? Like what's some of your goals?
I think that is also a very typical question. I think because we're in our 20s, right? So everybody's doing everything and you're looking at, and then we're social media age. So somebody's goal and that they're completing, you're seeing that and you're like, why am I not doing that? Why am I not
Yep. Comparison.
why am
Yeah.
I not like we're in the same realm, right? Like why am I not doing the same thing? And I think it's also because we like set weird standards for ourselves that we're supposed to like be somewhere, do
Right.
something, when honestly we're all at our own space with it. Your skills and talents are not necessarily their skills and talents, and like trying to recenter yourself. So for me, I just most recently started thinking about myself in the larger sense, being
Yeah.
a creative. I feel like a lot of the time when you're in school or when you're like just living life, you dumb yourself down and you're like, oh, I won't, oh, I'm gonna do this. That's not that big. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
this. It's not that big. And then
Yeah.
you start doing more shit and you're like, oh shit, it's getting serious. So so what do you call yourself now? Your titles change, what you feel about yourself change. So right now, my goals is just to be centered in whatever I'm doing.
Mhm.
And it's okay to want more. It's okay to be like, I want my work to be in a gallery, or I want my work to be in like a massive curated setting or something like that. Right now, I'm hoping that I do more shows and I'm hoping that I stay intentional about the work I'm creating. Um but I think that's pretty much it. I'm hoping that anything that comes from me in the long run. And I don't really like have to think too much about it because that's when stuff starts getting confusing and people want to start putting numbers on your creativity.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really like that response. Like, I think it's like you feel like you're just like not putting pressure on yourself to where
Yeah.
like you're like, I know I'm gonna, eventually get there, but I'm not putting in like immense pressure. And
Mm-hmm.
that's like so real because like you said, like in our 20s, like we always have this weird pressure to like
Mm-hmm.
accomplish everything within the next 6 months to a year, and you have to be here. If I'm not
Mm-hmm.
here, like it's all these expectations, and that ruins the whole process of like kind of living life a little bit, like not even just going with the flow. Like most people want to have these expectations, but I like the fact you were like, yeah, if I get my art in a gallery or curate,
Yeah.
it's gonna be there.
Yeah. I feel like I don't know. That mindset has saved me a lot this year alone because I used to be like, oh, I take any show that come to me. And then
Yeah,
I found out like the shows I was taking weren't like necessarily what I wanted my work to drive towards. And
yeah,
I think being intentional and giving yourself space to feel and be where you want to be,
yes.
um, and taking that time, it saves you a lot of like, oh my God, like overthinking, but also being in a place that you don't feel confident about.
Exactly. No,
Hmm.
literally it does. Like I think that intentionality part is so important, especially in creative spaces, like being intentional
Hmm.
about the work you're putting out and even just who you're putting the work out for, like what is the message behind it. And I think honestly that's kind of what I want to do with this podcast, like just
Yeah.
people like just be so authentic and real and share their stories and
Hmm.
the art and just the way they're being creative and how they're like expressing themselves, because at the end of the day it's a form of expression of some way. And I think right now, especially in art, I think I personally appreciate art that just speaks to me and like has some form of background. I think your art definitely does that like so well, and like extremely talented. Like I've seen Clara's work in a bunch of like I think I saw an exhibition in Brooklyn that we went to. I'm sorry, just had like a work that I went to, and it was so cool seeing her artwork like in person. Like I was in awe. Like wow, like the fact that you created that, like that was just so impressive. But no, that's what I hope to get with this podcast. I'm gonna say this speaking in existence a few months from now that, have a little pop-up event where we can have your art featured and,
Oh, that's so sweet.
yeah, like I would love to feature your art. I would love to feature Kai Kai's poetry books and different
Yeah.
have have that space where, people can just understand you as an artist and get to
Hmm.
your work. And I think it's important just to be authentic always. So yeah, I'm so excited for you. And so I guess another question, yeah, I'm trying to see. I have like a lot of questions just because I really want to dive.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess what would you say, like living in, especially like since we come from New Jersey, or like where you're living in New Jersey, but like how has
Mhm.
where we live inspired like just you even like creatively? Like you feel like since we're so close to New York and like you work in New York, do you think that like had any like I guess effect on your work or even just the people you're meeting and like
Hmm.
been in?
I think it's like really the network of North Jersey and like
Mhm.
New York is really interesting, like how artists in both those areas work. Not when you're like in Central Jersey and farther on, like I don't know. I don't know what the scene is like that around there, but I think the communities near me have been like really connected,
Mhm.
and that's been interesting. Everyone who I've met has been willing to help other people, and
Yeah.
like especially people of the BIPOC community wanting to be like, oh, if I'm an artist, I know the show, you should be in the show. And pe people putting your what is it, name in their mouth to other people, and that's really beautiful. I think I've joined a lot of collectives, art collectives that often want to like support people in that way, and they're connected to like people in New York or um people in New Jersey, and like making sure that each one across the border really knows like what's going on. And I think you have to be willing to, a lot of the artists and creatives I know, like you have to be willing to connect with them. You know, it's not a space of being shy. And I'm learning that. I'm a shy girly.
Oh, me too.
So it's really hard for me to think of networking as like, oh, I'm making a friend today. Like and so I try to be open in that way, because even if you go to one show or go to an event or whatever, there's somebody out there that likes your stuff and who will want to talk to you. So I feel like it's been interesting, and it has really influenced the way I look at my work, because a lot of the people I've met have different ways of thinking and, a
Yeah,
different way of living that helps you understand what your concepts and what you're trying to work out. Yeah.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's what I love about that area. Like you said, like there's so many people. The networking is like endless. Like that's why I just every time I go back, I just love and appreciate the people that you're around because everyone's really doing creative stuff and
Yeah.
not broadcasting it. You find out later on. So I totally agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, I'm trying to think of like just any other arenas that like within like even New York, New Jersey. Yeah, I feel like there's just so many different like really like cool scenes that we don't.
Yeah, there's like a lot of what I think is interesting about like our generation alone of artists, like the older generation, they don't fuck with each other. They don't really talk to each other. And if they do, it's very elitist. It's in the mindset of, oh, I'm here, so I don't have any space to help you. It's not like that at all. I feel like if you find the right people, they'll be willing to like talk to you. And in the space we are in with social media, if you know somebody who knows somebody, be like, oh, I
Yeah,
got you. So I feel like I think we're in a perfect space as a generation or as a community in both our areas that if you hold your hand out, I think somebody will reach out for it. And I think that's beautiful.
me too.
Hmm.
I really do. I agree with everything you're saying. Yeah. Well, Clara, thank you so much for coming on to the
Yeah, of course.
This was such a great conversation. I feel like this is what we need on the Creative Blackprint
Hmm.
podcast, tapping into like different artists and
Hmm.
who are the star of the show for the art scene so far. Like you're starting off. I'm hoping that we get even more artists that
Yeah.
like share your space and just even I think you yeah, this is a great like starting point for just the podcast. So I'm so appreciative and I appreciate you just coming on and
No,
sharing
of
your
course.
creativity.
Thank you for having me.